Okay, it's recording.
Oh, so,
Recording.
so big, this is right. I was gonna mark those up and give them to Paul.
Don't give them to me, I'm not the
You've got
editor.
both of them on the front page, right? Yeah,
His wife is now
no,
editing.
Gourmet.
We're
proofreading
recording.
the word gourmet.
We're recording.
Meanwhile, back at the ranch.
I thought that was British spelling, no? It's a French word, anyway, come on. Yeah, French spelling.
Okay, moving right along. In accordance with the requirements of the open meeting law, please be advised that this meeting of Pacc is being recorded and will be uploaded to the Lunenburg Access YouTube after the meeting. This meeting is being held in person at the location provided in this notice. Members of the public are welcome to attend this in-person meeting. Please note that while an option for remote attendance and or participation is being provided as a courtesy to the public, the meeting will not be suspended or terminated if technological problems interrupt the virtual broadcast, unless otherwise required by law. Members of the public with particular interest in any specific item on this agenda should make plans for in-person rather than virtual attendance accordingly. Zoom meeting information is in the notice. The agenda lists all the topics which may be discussed at the meeting and are those reasonably anticipated by the chair. Votes may be taken as a result of these discussions. Not all items listed may in fact be discussed, and other items not listed may also be brought up for discussion to the extent permitted by the open meeting law. As I don't see anyone on Zoom and I don't see any members of the public here, we should just do a quick roll call. Which debate are you here?
Big deal here.
Okay, that's good. Paul,
Paul Srapp is here.
Peter here, Steve.
I'm here.
Joe, as manager, are you here?
I'm here.
And as chair, Steve Walker, I am here as well. Are there any public comments? By the way, if you have copies of the agenda, make sure you have the one with the bright yellow stripes on it. No public comments? Any committee comments?
Yes,
Please.
it's the same comment I had for you in Hanford's. Town website
It's
has
on,
our terms wrong.
it's on the agenda.
It is?
Yes. Pacc term review and update.
Oh,
You asked me to put it out?
yes, okay, I understand that.
Thank you for reminding us. Being an elderly committee, we can forget.
Excuse me.
I could do that.
Oh, you really, I didn't know it's
Am I
Dean or.
on? Steve, are you Steve?
I'm Steve.
You Steve, okay. Meanwhile, back at the ranch. Any committee comments? No. Communications. Actually do have one, but it's going to come up as an agenda item a little later on, which is the appointment policy reporting, which I eventually found on my Lunenburg town address. That's the second message I've had on that since I've had that address. So that will come about. Does anyone have any other communication? Hearing none, the minutes from the 2nd of October this year. Everyone received them from Steve. They took you over an hour to get out.
We can't vote on that.
No. I make a motion to accept.
I second.
Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All
Abstain.
abstain.
You'd have to abstain.
That's fine.
That was the last reading.
Sufficiently saying aye. They are accepted. So, manager's monthly report.
Let's try to make a quick getaway.
Yeah,
Got me.
it's like,
I did notice that the amount in the budget is gone.
You shouldn't be joking about that.
Actually, we're below 1 million now. So
I know, it's a thing, whoa.
we were over 1 million last month.
Well, it's November, so there will be a Comcast payment this month.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Nice.
This is Joe Toll speaking, and the manager's report this week. This is not in priority order, just things that have been going on. We were working on a new show called Gene Therapy with a doctor, and they wanted to do a show, and we got halfway into it and they decided not to do it. So we were a little bit bummed out about that. On the 26th of October, I spent the day at Lunenburg High School recording the Artists in School program. They had Pro Black, who is a Boston muralist, a visual storyteller, who was at the school all day with the students. So I just finished editing that. That was 6 hours of footage that we brought down to 58 minutes. So that was for the Lunenburg Cultural Council. And they're going to have another artist in the schools at the end of November. And I'm going to see if I can get a videographer to film that for the day and do the edits. We got a great video from Paul Serapis, Up in Smoke, and it's really popular on YouTube. So that
What's
was
it about?
Briefly, the fire chief reached out to me and invited me to come over to a controlled burn of a house on Mass.
Yeah, I saw that.
And they used it as a training ground. So I did an article for the Ledger on that, and I also got permission to use my drone. So it's one of my favorite, best films yet.
Yeah.
it was great.
Yeah, thank you.
It was great.
And then they had helmet cam footage that firefighters had.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
So you can find it on YouTube.
Okay, I'll look for it.
Yeah,
I know the firefighters showed a fire thing about a place burning up that didn't have sprinklers and one that did have sprinklers, and that was quite a, dramatic difference.
It's pretty amazing
Yeah.
stuff. So yeah, they set something like 11 blazes and extinguished them, and then they burned the thing down to the ground.
Where was it?
It's next to the puppet theater on Mass
Oh,
Ave.
yeah.
And it's owned by the Proctors, and they had to take the house out because it wasn't really worth it.
Oh,
It was
okay.
owned by the Masons for a long time. Used to hang out in there. We put the softball guy in there.
Mhm.
It was so weird to see him burning up.
Yeah. It was pretty cool. I mean, it's just a regular sort of frame,
Yeah.
100-year-old house, but anyway, so thank you for that.
well, it was a good addition.
And so Dan is also editing a version, like a documentary style, working with the chief. So this is more like, mine's just sort of like, this is what it looked like. And this is more like instructional.
Yeah. We added 11 new local programs this month, which is
Wow.
probably a record.
Very good.
It's
Yeah.
wonderful.
And we're on target to exceed last year's total programming count of 109. That was for the full year.
Wow.
So we're almost at 60 in Q2. I went to a mass access meet and greet on Cape Cod. It was okay. It wasn't well attended, and it was just, it was okay. There wasn't a lot of networking
Usually
going
they're
on.
quite good.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
disappointing.
It was very disappointing, very
Your annual
disappointing.
things,
Biannual,
buy-in.
fall and spring.
So it was, the spring one was better, it sounds like.
Yeah, the spring one was, oh, well, I didn't go to the spring one.
That wasn't a meet and greet, that was their.
Oh,
conference.
conference, okay.
That was at Great
I can't where the
Wolf.
spring one was.
We went to it, it was.
Yeah,
Somewhere up here, Lowell, was it maybe?
yeah, I think so.
Seems like I went to one in Acton years ago.
There was one in Acton years
Okay.
ago. Yeah,
I think you and I went.
Yeah. in fact,
Yeah.
Joe and I were at Acton, which is Joe's probably got to report on.
I am.
we were talking about that meet and greet when we were there. Sorry.
Yeah. We added new meetings, scheduling meetings and getting videographers for these meetings has turned into a full-time job. It's trying to get people where they need to be and who's available and who's not. So that's, when someone requests their meeting to be recorded, it's like, oh, no, oh, no.
Yeah,
But it's okay. We added the master steering committee. The Board of Assessors, they're now having evening meetings. And occasionally the APDC, they're not every month.
what's,
Architectural Preservation District Commission. So we're continually adding meetings. We actually did a master steering committee community meeting last Thursday, I believe.
I
Yeah.
saw a posting on Facebook and I wanted to commend you on advertising which committee meetings you reported.
Mhm.
I think that's very helpful.
Thank you. I just started using the new Munis system, so I was able to get the reports done. I had never used it before, but got through that. Tested the connectivity at the LHS auditorium. Unfortunately, the wireless didn't work. I had to hardwire into the network.
At least you had that as a backup.
And it's probably more stable anyhow,
Yeah.
so,
That's our preferred way if we
Yeah.
can.
yeah,
Yeah,
we can.
because It's unpredictable when it fills up with people all of their phones.
Yeah.
Right, right. We did not test the audio, though. That's coming soon. Before the 14th.
That was my question.
Yeah. We visited 2 studios to review cameras. Steve Walker, Eric Foster, and myself went to Groton and to Acton. Groton had older cameras. It was nice to see their studio and their setup and their operation.
Except
But
it was dreadful. Their studio was full of junk because they were running.
No, that was Medfield.
That was-
Oh, I'm sorry, wrong.
Yeah, I wouldn't
You're
be
right.
in that field.
Take it back.
Yeah, yeah.
Beautiful facility, but dreadfully cluttered.
Kara McCarthy, who is the IT administrative assistant who works on the website, put the Pacc YouTube channel on our website page,
Very good.
so you can get to it from there.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
good.
I
Can you
asked her
say
to do that.
again? I don't think it-
She put
The link.
the link to our YouTube channel on our website page.
Okay, great.
Yeah. We got a new affiliate, Plymouth, New Hampshire,
Hey,
and
Close down.
the current affiliate count is 84, and it's on the back of your
Yeah.
handout.
What's the borough of Kenilworth?
I don't know, I have to look them up every time. They don't say where they're,
Great Britain or something.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, UK.
So about the Scott.
Now, when you're saying, these are, when you say affiliates, these are a list of stations that are broadcasting some of our shows?
yes,
Okay,
yeah, they call them affiliates.
are we broadcasting some of their shows?
Yes.
Okay,
Movie Talk, which Matt Monroe, one of our videographers, is doing, was just added to the MMX database. And 3 stations are picking his show up so far, so that's a good start.
yeah,
We got a new laptop for the control room at Town Hall for presentations and lower thirds. The other one was too old to handle it. However, the new computer had Windows issues. It didn't have the proper drivers. And it wouldn't show the presentations properly.
The new one wouldn't?
No,
What was the purpose again? Did IT configure it for us?
well, IT ended up configuring it with Windows 10 instead of Windows 11, which is what it came with.
oh,
So it's been resolved.
Okay,
Yeah,
but it has Word, PowerPoint and PDF management and all that kind of stuff on it.
It doesn't have Word, it has PowerPoint.
Why doesn't it have
No.
Word?
Such a
Someone comes
common,
in with a Word document, and wants to show something.
Mhm.
We should have Office on it.
yeah. That's a-
I can talk
'cause
to
they-
them
it
about
could be a
that.
Spreadsheet, you know, in Excel, or there's all sorts of different.
All right, I'll talk
documents.
to them about it.
It actually may be on there because the town has an Office license. So IT should have put the whole thing on.
Okay.
Thank you.
I got an email from Heather Lemieux, asking if we play third-party content, which we do. Apparently, we need to take out insurance for that, liability insurance.
Mm,
What?
I believe the town is paying for it. She didn't mention anything about us paying for it.
Good.
Now, by third party, are you talking about like some of the programs, the other stations that we use? Or
So
or
MMX.
Paul's,
Both,
okay,
yeah. If something in those programs
offend someone?
causes a problem,
You
then
better
we're
watch it, buddy.
covered by insurance. It's required.
Actually,
by
the
the
one
town.
that needs to watch it is Pete here with his baseball
Okay.
show.
So, but as far as we know, there's no budget impact.
Pardon?
As far as we know, there's no budget impact.
Good.
Yeah.
As far as I know, no.
Okay,
It just sounds.
We're hiring 2 new videographers. I think we had 2 openings.
Do you have to watch all the shows you take?
I usually scan them at
Yeah.
least. Yeah, just to make sure there's nothing
Offensive.
weird about
Is-
them.
Has someone seen one that they objected to?
No,
So we've never used that insurance. We've never had a claim.
we've never had
against
to
it.
have it before, but I guess she met with the MIAA insurance people. And they wanted to know if our station was running third-party programs, and Heather said she would check with me, and she did, and I told her yes,
Doesn't everyone?
yeah.
So that's like basically if someone sues Pacc for libel. The legal fees of, you know, to defend our case are paid for by the insurance.
I would assume so.
or if they watch a video that shows them how to burn a house down and go and burn another one down.
Mm.
I'm just trying to stay with it. Okay, moving right in.
We're hiring 2 new videographers. I believe we have two slots available. One is starting next week, Connor Garrity. And another one is, they're actually checking references right now. Yeah, Chris Piscopo. He is from Gardner, and Connor is from Holden.
They're
And,
coming a long way.
well, Holden's about a half hour, Gardner's about a half hour,
Yeah. Good for them.
yeah,
Thank you, that's, thank them.
yeah. Connor graduated from Fitchburg State in their film program, and I think I got him mixed up with someone else. I don't think he did. I believe he went to Mount Wachusett Community College.
Yeah,
One of
there's
them
a
did.
program there as well.
Yeah, yeah. So anyhow, that's
Okay, and as I mentioned earlier, I heard 2 people talk in restaurants talking about wanting to go into filming, and I gave them your email address, so
okay.
if they contact you out of the blue, then.
Yeah. Well, we could always use volunteers if people want to get their foot in the door. It doesn't
Yeah.
hurt to do that.
We tend
And
not to
also-
like it when they hear other ones are getting.
That's true too, yeah. But you know, they could be put on a list in case other people drop out,
Right,
backup list.
yeah. Yeah.
And
There's,
some people for the experience of it. You know, like the one student was a high school student who wanted to major in film. And he thought it would be great experience and he didn't mention anything about money, and the other one is at Fitchburg State, and she's already making money waitressing, so
Mhm.
she sounded very interested.
There's one thing in the packet, prior to the program analysis, which is we just got our retained earnings, our free cash certification for our budget. It's right before the program analysis.
If that's the money that was left over from their budget last year, has been approved, but because we're now. What fund are we now?
Enterprise.
Enterprise fund is, actually, it doesn't mean much, because we budget based on expected income, not funds we have in hand. When we had the revenue fund, it was the other way.
So we're able to hang on to all this cash.
Which is fortunate, because we already moved a bunch of it into Bartholomew.
So that's all I have, if anybody has any questions.
I had just one.
Yeah,
I'm assuming the program analysis is a colored document.
yeah.
So if you just put next to each of the categories, like how much the informational was, like if that was the 52% or whatever.
Yeah,
Then we could decipher it, otherwise.
I
Possibly.
Don't we have a color printer? Or don't we have colored ink? Is that?
I use the printer at town hall because I have to produce 7 of these reports.
Yeah,
I don't use the one in the studio.
and that's only black and white.
I don't know.
Do you email it there, or do you have to take a copy along?
No, I take one copy,
Okay,
but I have to figure out how they do color at the town hall. I haven't figured that out yet.
especially as we're not paying for it, I think we should do it in color.
Yeah,
Small little thing.
no, thanks for mentioning it. I've been looking at that.
So I mean, so what is the largest category? What's that? 50%?
Informational.
It's the informational, okay.
Informational is 52%,
Mhm,
events are 26%,
mhm.
entertainment is 12%. Cooking is less than, not even reported. And sports is the next largest one. So it's less than 12%, it looks like it's
Now,
9 or
legal,
10%.
Is that governmental or
Which one?
legal? Like our town meetings, are those,
No, we used to have, we don't have it anymore, we used to have a show called Legalese.
oh, okay.
I just haven't taken it off of there yet.
So the select board meetings are not part of program analysis?
No, the program analysis is only for Channel 9. I
Yeah.
used to have that on the top, sorry.
Um,
I'll put that back on there.
Mentioning the cooking, when we went to Acton, they had a very nice kitchen set up. And the fascinating piece of information we got was that 8 other stations come in and use that kitchen studio to make programs, because they don't have one.
Yeah.
Or if they have one, it's nothing like as good
Yeah,
as the Acton one, because it was beautifully set up, had
mirrors.
vertical
and-
cameras, vertical lighting, as well as all the rest of it. Although the kitchen window I thought was mediocre. But I thought that was an interesting
there's
change.
one
Many kitchen windows might be, actually.
It was a picture.
Yeah.
It's just a picture on the wall.
We have one that we show, don't we, with, in Hudson,
Yeah,
the guy,
yeah, wicked,
cooks at the
wicked good
Hudson.
food.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's kind of fun to watch.
yeah, they're not doing it anymore, so I'm
Oh, they're
taking old
not?
episodes, yeah.
Oh,
I was on right before the church service on the Sunday.
oh. I can't believe I watched anything early. I don't watch anything before noon, ever.
Oh,
Not even
okay,
before
anyone have
bedtime.
anything else for Joe?
Good
Thank you.
job.
Nice work.
Thank you, Joe.
Always.
You mentioned we just
Yeah,
got
that was great,
$1 million.
great stuff, yeah.
You say we haven't got the Comcast one in yet.
I'm sorry?
The Comcast fee has not come in yet.
No, they're really short-staffed in finance right now.
Oh, so it's.
So it could be
may-
delayed.
May have come in, but not
The
been
town.
reported.
The town, yeah.
Gotcha.
The town is behind, so, in fact, indirect costs, I could get that to you, but I couldn't, but they're not posted yet. And they're usually posted July 1st
At 9 o'clock,
at
9:05.
at 9:05, so they're pretty far behind.
Okay, we will need to talk about that in a month. So, next thing on the agenda is the Pacc year-to-date work report for the select board, which I sent something out to everybody so they could look at it and come up with a list of things that can be put together. This is this committee as volunteers reporting to the select board.
I don't remember that.
It's under the one.
Oh, but I don't remember receiving that. Like,
Yeah, I sent it to everyone.
you sent it through the minutes and stuff, like
No,
the
no,
first
I
time?
just sent an email. No, I sent. You sent it.
Okay, I'll look.
It was
at
just
these.
all the chairman.
Okay,
No, I'm not, I sent.
The original,
request out.
original notification.
Right, went to the chairman
Instead
of the
of the one
committee.
I have to do them too.
But I'm bringing it to the committee, so I gave the committee a heads up. That we didn't see it either, the one I sent out.
I see one that says investments.
Yeah, actually,
I don't see.
and did you
that.
send it to our
Did you see
Lunenburg,
it? Thank you.
Oh, did you send it to the?
did you send it to the Lunenburg email address or to our personal email?
I sent it to the one I have for you, which I
That is my
think was a
personal.
Gmail one.
Yeah,
Okay, but about me.
Well, I only have the one for you. but it's the
Yeah.
Gmail.
Yeah, okay.
Yours, I think I sent to your Looney address. And Pete, we got sent into some cave somewhere.
some cave.
It's been my family's motto for 50 years.
There you go.
Yeah, no, all I have, oh, I see.
There are so many-
October 30th.
Inappropriate comments we could make about that, so let's not do it.
I don't have
Okay.
it.
There you get it.
Yeah,
Let
I
me
didn't
just
get
to
it,
avoid
so
it.
I apologize for
Okay,
not being able
good.
to.
but anyway, the select board is requesting my committee, in this case, submit a report either in writing or in person for the November 28th select board meeting. Should be on your committee's work through 2023. That's from January to the present. It's not what you'd expect, which would be from July,
Yeah,
because our appointments are all from July as well.
Oh.
But anyway.
Yeah,
that-
it's calendar year.
it's calendar year, not fiscal year, and it's like an annual report.
Until now, right. So
Okay.
they would welcome any recommendations to enhance or advance the operation of the body. Fascinating phrase, I love that. I can remember ever doing one, not formally. Really? Well, it's okay, I don't remember what I had for breakfast.
No, I remember doing a report. It could have been, I will have to admit, it might have been one of my.
I honestly, and I've been on this committee since it was reformulated in July
Yeah.
of 2014.
Well, that was the charter of the Bible.
Okay,
I remember doing it.
but
I
anyway, so
remember us
that's
doing something in the past that was where we each had to write things and then to be presented at a town meeting.
That's a town. meeting, right? So that's-
Is this gonna be presented at
No,
a town
this-
meeting?
No, it's on TV.
So
The select board, I think, is asking every committee, tell us what you've been doing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That's it. They just wanna know what everyone's been doing to
Right.
make sure that people are actually doing stuff.
Okay.
It's useful.
And it's relatively useful. That's
Not relatively. We want.
Yeah.
meetings to 1 hour,
Especially
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the flip side is, and I remember. At one committee saying it would be nice if this would happen. And we did or whatever it was.
Which committee did that?
I don't know.
Mm.
Now you got me thinking.
We
Which
need to
committee
talk
made
to
work
them.
for us?
You know what I think it was probably the charter, and it was getting the charter draft on the website.
Okay,
They helped get that, or the bylaws draft on the website so people could see it.
Yeah.
That's probably what it was.
meanwhile, back at the ranch, thank you. We need to put enough together that I can either, we could generate the report sitting around the table. which
Yeah.
Generally is a disaster trying to do that.
No, not with
Okay.
us.
Do you want,
Or we can create an acceptable set of bullet points, which then I will
Yeah.
present. to
That
the
would
select.
be,
That's what I meant.
Well, that's what I was trying to
you
get.
could do that right now.
Yeah.
So we can do that right now, but that's what the email asked for, and I
Yeah.
didn't get any. Joe had sent me some other stuff, but that was more what PAC does,
Okay,
less what the committee does. So you can go and get a beer or something, or if you do that, you know, bring 5 back with you. when you're done. Or you can contribute as well.
I'll
Not a
just
member of
listen,
the committee, but you're part of it. So
I'll
let's
just
say
listen.
I can run down what I
Yeah, what
Put
did you write
together.
down?
And if you have anything to add to it, please do, because the principal one seems to be finance. And I put under finance that we dealt with the bonds, which in 1 quarter already generated $8,000
That's a good
of
accomplishment.
interest. So I thought that was a good thing.
Yes.
We do the budget with Joe. So we put the budget together and the committee presents it to FinCom. And we do a monthly review with Joe of what's been happening with
Program.
PAC with 1C.
With what?
PAC with 1C.
Oh,
PAC with 2 Cs is the committee.
yeah.
PAC with 1C is Joe's department,
Mm.
just to confuse it.
Yeah, I would rather you say that we review the programming and finances of the public access station or something to differentiate.
Oh, I mean, one is, it'll be different.
Yeah, but the things we actually review, not just saying we review the budget, we review,
Yeah, I put that in, that was,
yep, and expenditures,
actually, that's
they
a
like that word,
good word to use, I like
Yes.
that one.
yeah,
Hiring,
hiring,
Hang on, let me go through this list.
I'm
because
sorry.
Then it'll help me keep stuff in the order I've got it at the moment.
Okay.
But expenditures is a good word. Policies,
Mm.
ooh, that's an even better one, which I don't have.
we did the drone policy.
Drone policies,
Yes,
first thing in January.
And personal equipment policies.
Yeah, oh yeah, we've done two, right? And equipment, this is good. Okay, I have recruiting support, which occasionally we have done with, especially with bringing in the production tech. We would give them the support there. Turns out it was me.
I
Maybe
can create 2 people,
studio
they never
visits,
showed up, but
we have had this year 3 studio visits then.
Yeah,
We don't remember which one of them was, right? Acton,
Medfield,
Groton. Was it Medfield?
Medfield.
I think you might be right.
Well, since I drove you there,
I know, but I
if
was
you remember that,
sleeping. You were talking, I was sleeping.
I did a lot of talking. I also asked you one. You were not sleeping.
We had quite a conversation,
Yes, we.
so that's good. Mass access, so I went to the conference. We've done. There was a meet and greet with, that wasn't Metro, we did a meet and greet earlier in the year. You thought might be Lowell,
yeah. Yeah, I really think it was. I really think it was.
I can also leave the town name off accidentally, if we can't remember which one it was.
You know, I think we
Yeah.
ought to say the purpose of why we
Yeah, but-
did that. To,
well, we can do, I'm just trying to
Yeah.
create the list.
right, but to enable us to come up with a design for our future studio. That's the reason
Yeah,
we've gone
okay.
to the different things, so they'll know that we're working on the design of the future studio.
Right, well, yeah, okay.
We moved down on location of our meetings.
We did.
Sure.
Because
More
of the,
accessibility.
wait, more accessibility and to avoid the asbestos
Yes.
Safety.
for safety reasons.
Mhm.
Well, we shouldn't put that. in that.
Thanks.
And
You know why? Because
You
that's
filmed
the
the show
studio.
again on the fact the roof doesn't leak.
No, it was
And the chairs are more
accessibility
comfortable.
issues.
Yeah,
The
I
big
think
thing is
accessibility.
No, it's definitely
Accessibility,
true.
But they did replace all the lights in the front, so it's a lot brighter.
I'm glad to hear it.
So I also have
Did they fix the mud holes?
I also have technology review support and some hands-on setting up of equipment. So we did the test bed, for instance, for the auditorium.
Mhm, mhm.
And the system approach to it and testing of the whole system. Okay. Keep it in mind, because I've only got 3 more. No, I've only got 2 more. I have a generic one that says Joe support,
Mhm.
because that's kind of in part what we're supposed to be doing. And
Yeah.
if Joe agrees to that, that would be nice, but that's what we'd like to put it in. And annual report, support and review. So the shiny one. We review that with your suggestions. When I added policies, I added review of expenditures. I added move location for accessibility.
We now have our, some of our programming in the Fitchburg Center.
Oh, yeah, we're advertising in
We're
there.
advertising,
That was at our suggestion.
that was it.
Okay, no, we didn't actually do it, so,
Yes, we did.
Yeah, we did.
no, we didn't do it.
No,
No,
I
we
went and
suggested
did it,
it,
but
and then
This
Joe
is
did it.
a report on what the committee does.
We came up with it.
We came up,
We suggested
With
it,
a resource.
you did here,
right,
so that's what I'm trying to
I see.
stay within that context.
Mhm.
So,
Thinking isn't a context. Think tank is a context.
context.
Yes. We come up with an idea. That's
Oh,
the
yeah,
idea.
yes, right. Somebody else, anybody, I've actually got enough to work with here, but
Did we facilitate any upgrades at the town hall? For public meetings?
We
To make it
recommend
accessible, I
it.
know we made, I know we looked into doing the closed caption. Which would be way too expensive.
yes.
Did we do anything else? That we can get credit for?
Yes, we authorized expenditures to upgrade. Many times we've done this to upgrade the hardware and sometimes software to make the
Yeah,
town hall filming and also the school filming more.
Yeah, we just got the
Available.
school thing.
Okay.
I just didn't know if there was something that we facilitated
Yeah.
that had to do with town hall.
Yeah,
I don't think we've done anything since January of this year.
Yeah, I know,
Trying
January.
to stay within this,
Right.
but.
I thought we
I'm
got
not-
a bigger.
I'm not sure that we have done anything additional to the auditorium other than create an auditorium friendly system. Is a way of trying to say it.
the Matrix AV has been
We've had that,
since, yeah, that was in the time frame. And we went to visit,
okay,
we went to visit,
Pepperell.
Pepperell to
Oh, check out
to
that,
check out the Matrix matrix, AV matrix switcher.
That's good. And that's part of the system that we helped create to give us a better production
Mhm.
from meetings from the auditorium.
Because I can
Okay,
remember
that's
us
good.
talking about evaluating which would be the better investment to do that.
Okay, you have the bonds, right?
The bonds I put in.
Yeah.
I used to drive a bond. It's a car in England, only has 3 wheels. So. Serious.
So, when you buy 3 wheels, you get the 4th one free.
Yeah.
What do you do?
Actually, this one you could go around corners on 2 wheels. Could actually lift one up. 200cc engine. Meanwhile, so we have the bonds. Budget month, we've got expenditure, that was really important, I totally missed. Policies, I totally missed.
Okay, there's
That's good.
has to do with cooperate. Well, let me just say the thought, then we can talk about getting the language correct. You know, the laws that they're trying to pass, or they did pass in Massachusetts, so that we get a share of the,
It's in committee.
Streaming. We monitor
I-
the legal situation of streaming.
yeah,
I wouldn't say I'm monitoring it, but I got an email today from, Representative Scarsdale.
Oh,
She's gonna be, for our benefit, pushing that bill
okay,
as much as possible.
no, but we as a committee,
would we say we lobby, or we,
we haven't sent anything. Oh, you know, we did,
I did send a letter to the,
yeah, the committee. We asked the select board to send a letter of support. And I don't remember when we did that.
I
We actually took it to them and they sent it. This is
wrote it up and emailed it.
No, this was from the select board. They were supposed to sign it and send it.
Right.
So I went there and told them what it was. They were actually grateful I explained what it was.
It was never brought to this committee. It was, I put it together and emailed it to Heather to have them sign.
These are 2 different things.
Oh, okay.
But this one, I'm trying to remember if it was before January or not. I can put something generic in supporting streaming.
we're supporting
Yeah.
legislation that is
Right.
that in favor of public access.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Stations.
I'd rather just say the
For
streaming.
example,
Right.
streaming, because if there were other issues, we would be on it.
We did as a committee ask town legal counsel to give us information, remember the whole water department thing?
Yeah,
We had put
Oh,
it out.
yeah,
So I believe that was the committee took command of that to try to come up, well, that would be under the policy thing,
yeah,
I suppose.
yeah,
But is that whole, the right to record
yes,
public
I
meetings.
like that phrase. Is that what we call it?
yes.
Which they clarified
Right,
to record.
They clarified,
Oh, right. Right.
they clarified the drone policy too.
Drone policy I have,
They clarified that.
and the personal equipment policy.
Mhm.
That was the issue.
I got like twice as much as I have on
You only
that.
get 10 minutes.
Oh, I can run this at
No,
45.
Yeah.
No fear.
I want to get home.
so Joe, you're gonna have to buy more memory.
Can you add that, in general, you keep these meetings to less than an hour? Drag a little bit? I'm not sure about
We
tonight.
get credit for that,
We might make it.
but I like it, thank you.
Why not?
We
Because what I-
congenially,
What I would like, given that we don't have another meeting in between time, is a motion that lets me bulletize
yes,
these topics.
and don't forget the
And-
little slashes under the bullets for the examples. Like the-
Oh, I mean, yeah, you just,
Yes,
all I'm doing is asking that I'm
yes, I make a motion.
authorized to take this, create it as a presentation and make it to the Board of Selectmen on the 28th of November.
So moved.
Seconded.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all
You
those in
usually do a
favour?
good job,
What is you are going to write?
especially with the financial stuff, you do a really good job.
Yes.
It's the humour that gets the select board going.
Really, Tom, we have a lot of fun and it's congenial.
Yeah.
We get our job, we get our work done. And
Thank you all for that.
Lost them.
Well, they're the only department that has a positive, financial,
Yeah.
right?
Self-sustaining.
Oh, you mean we come in under budget every year?
Yeah, we come in, we have $1 million.
You know, I think
Well, we don't want to.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Putting that out there.
one other
word.
point I
Somebody
forgot.
will get it.
How about
Thank you
being
very much,
that,
I appreciate it.
you assist other departments as needed, for example, the planning for the buildings, for the town buildings and other things, whenever.
I would love to include that, but they did not include us.
Oh.
So we didn't do.
Well,
No master plan. Master plan, we've done nothing. Are you on committee? No. Really? I was
The
tried
last
to
I
get
heard,
on the building committee and select board said no. Then somebody resigned, they came back to me and said, would you like to be on? And my answer was very polite, no, thank you. It wasn't what I wanted to reply, but my wife made me say that instead.
Well, could there be someone else on the committee who's happy to go?
Yeah, but we didn't do that.
Yeah.
That's the studio plans and the time we were somewhat involved with the architect and things was all
Yeah.
last year. That was
Okay.
last year.
All right.
I'm trying to desperately stay within the context of the letter that was sent. Are we good?
Yes.
We're
Because
good.
we have something much more interesting to talk about.
Hmm.
The next item is the budget review. And this may not be at all what you're expecting.
Hmm.
Because wrong folder. What is going on at the moment? And let me get through this. We will discover why it was put under budget review, because I didn't know. Anyway, no, you cannot.
I have to step out for a second.
I'm just trying to.
Sure.
You going to get me in?
Deb told me to do it.
What's that?
That lady just told me to do it.
A little late. What time did it close up?
We can get her. She's already moved. So. Okay, so what's been happening is the personnel committee has been reviewing grades and levels for various people. In the process of this being done, Joe, who's officially a department head, is non-exempt, thus gets paid hourly. And I believe she's one of only 2 of the department heads that are that way. So what they want to do, don't shoot me, I'm the messenger here, plus I've got a lot of work on this. They want to make her exempt. If she's made exempt at her present level and grade, she gets the same pay, but being exempt does not get overtime.
Mhm.
Joe does a bunch of overtime. So what this means is, if they did that, she would be taking a significant pay cut. I sat down with Joe when she raised it with me to bring to the committee. Okay, so I sat down with her and I said, what needs to be done is they need to make you exempt because that puts you on a par with the other department heads. But they also need to make you whole. So the amount of money they pay you should not be less than the amount of money you're getting now. And that
What
includes
about
the
the hours
overtime.
she works?
Well, with exempt, you don't get
I
hours.
understand that, but I'm saying, isn't she working 30 hours,
She's
not
working,
40?
she's paid to work. She's a 28-hour benefited employee
Right,
and
so they
typically,
would need to change that. And then,
Well, let-
then
let-
there
let
would be
me-
more equality in the pay.
Let me try and get through, because there's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, but I'm just not understanding.
Okay,
So that's why I asked the question. If they increased her paid hours,
that's what I've got in here. That's what all of this is about. So,
personnel
sorry,
issues
I-
aren't supposed to be,
that-
We're personnel, that's point of order, we're talking personnel,
yes.
is this a public? Or should we be in executive session?
my understanding is that's not sufficient to go into executive
Okay,
session.
just wanted to clarify that.
Because we tried to do this once before,
Fine.
and we were told we couldn't. There are, I believe, 10 categories of executive session, typically like contracts and things like that. But thank you for bringing that
Yeah,
up,
I
because
was
that really
listening.
does matter, so.
That wasn't out there. I
So-
didn't see her.
Well,
I didn't see her.
It doesn't close till 8, right?
we can still get out, right?
Yes.
Good.
They actually,
So I sat down with Joe and we tried to work out something that is equitable. So that if this is done, Joe is not a loser. However, one thing that came out of this is up until recently, our salary budget, which is why that's the item we're discussing, had Joe's salary in it, had a salary in it for a production technician, and did not have any budget for overtime. Until we got a production technician, that wasn't an issue because Joe was doing more work, was getting paid overtime. And we never exceeded the budget, so it was not an issue. So this set off a little alarm in my head, because if we want to make Joe whole, and I will explain the process for doing that, then Joe would get a salary, not based on hours, because it's exempt, equivalent to her present non-exempt hourly wage spread out over the year, plus an average of 6 hours overtime per week. Or I put in 48 weeks, Joe, because I assume you had 4 weeks of vacation.
This isn't making sense to me. Can I ask for explanation, for clarity?
Right, I'm just trying to give you the whole picture.
I understand, but what do you mean by whole? I mean, she's getting paid hourly right now for
Right.
28 and a half
48
hours.
hours, yeah.
That's part-time. And you expect her to get a salary that's full-time when, and yet, you know, she should be, if she's getting a full-time salary as non-exempt, or wait, as exempt, right? You're exempt from overtime, then she should be working at least 40 hours.
I don't believe that's the way the town works.
I believe that,
They
That-
work a 4-day week.
do they work a 4-day?
They work a 4-day week,
But
so
it's
they
still
work
10
approximately
hours.
38 hours
Okay,
or
38
36,
hours.
36, 38, some do 40.
Okay, but she.
Within
but you
those
should
4
be
days.
Working, if you want to be a department head at the same level of the others, then you should be working the 38 hours. It should, if you want equity and you want par, that's what it should be. There shouldn't be overtime. It should be part of the job. It's just that she's making,
Don't have
spending more
overtime.
hours.
I don't have overtime.
You said something about,
Currently,
Currently,
she gets
she
paid and
overtime.
then extra hours is overtime.
right, oh,
The
okay.
new thing that they're looking at now is to give her one lump sum that includes the overtime.
And she gets,
And what I'm
so-
saying is there is no overtime, so her expected hours of production,
that's correct.
Would
That's
be
in- that's in
increased.
here. right.
yeah,
Which include what she normally does.
right,
Hours equivalent to overtime, not overtime hours.
right.
Which is paid at 1.5%.
Actually, my understanding is not, although some of this we need to clarify.
Yeah,
If you work less than, you don't get 1.5 times until you exceed 40 hours.
Okay,
Right.
thank you.
And that's my understanding,
That
so
makes
we need
sense.
to clarify.
I'm just coming from a human resources
Yes, I know,
perspective because I've worked in that field.
Right,
And there needs to be that, equivalency,
that's what I mean by making a whole.
right?
At the
Well-
end of this process, if it all goes through, and that's what this huge pile of papers to do with, Joe would end up being exempt, not having to report hours on a bi-weekly basis or fortnightly. I don't know.
Bi-weekly.
I'm just trying to
Slip
keep it
that
going. Because
Who you
as the
employ?
day,
Yeah,
you're expected to get the job done, and that's what
Right.
exempt is about.
Mhm.
You
Yeah.
don't get paid overtime, at the end of the day,
Right,
Joe should get the same income.
Yeah.
There's some little differences. Be exempt
Mhm.
and not have to report hours.
right,
I do not know, by the way, at this point, if there are any benefit changes by being exempt. It changes medical plan or anything. I'm saying I don't know. I'm also going to say, and it's none of our business. The point I'm trying to make is, if we were to do this, then I looked at our budget to make sure we could afford to do it. Because our budget presently does not include Joe's overtime, and should Eric, production technician, do overtime, is not in there. So I did some calculations, you know how I love spreadsheets.
yeah,
So, I took Joe's present hourly rate, translated that to an annual salary, added overtime of 6 hours per work week, that's why it was 48. To come up with an annual overtime pay, which came out to almost $10,000. So that's on top of the 49,000 plus. These are just salaries, this is not benefits. So we're on the same page. They matched your numbers, by the way. On the spreadsheet you gave me, we got a match down to the cent, which was encouraged. Turned that into an equivalent hourly rate. And then tried to find out from the magic chart that HR and the personnel committee used to determine what grade
grade and step.
and step. Joe is presently grade 11 and step 8. I calculated this to move Joe, and I'm talking right now, just making Joe whole. It's either 13, grade 13, step 3, or more likely to be acceptable will be a grade 14 in a step 1. And there are some small numbers that change. The good news is, as you do that, all the numbers are a little bit up, not a little bit down. So I'm trying to manage this as best I can.
Now, what are the other department heads?
They're 13 or 14.
Okay,
the lowest one is 14.
So you
Oh,
know,
is that
lowest
right? I
one?
thought we had a 13.
No, no 13.
Okay,
so it's similar to a Schedule A that's in the teacher's contract.
sure.
Yeah.
So there are a number of issues here that are not of our business. One, I don't think we should try telling the personnel committee what grade to use.
Why not?
why not
Because
just
it's
suggest?
their
We have a
business.
recommendation.
Yeah,
Oh, sir,
Because because it's,
Sud already wanted to be raised in the, from one grade to another, Debbie, I went up to the personal direct, and they
Mhm.
got to change it.
right, we
That's-
can do, but this is, I'm not disputing that with you, you're wrong. It's important that the personnel committee be allowed to do their job, and I sat through a whole 1-hour meeting of theirs on video. Oh, sorry, I watched the whole hour of it, and the way they do it, I was not very comfortable with. But because of the way they do it, this would require rewriting Joe's job description. Because Joe's job description, which is, goes back a little way, says things like, she schedules programs, sorry, I have to get one in.
yeah,
Twice. that schedules programs, whereas as a department head, it would be better to say, Joe ensures that programs are scheduled. So it's not saying Joe does it, it's saying Joe's department does it. And a number of things, then when the personnel committee go through it, they will see it in a different light.
As more
Because I think-
managerial.
Right, exactly. I think we need to set the stage for some of this.
Mhm.
Are we all on the same page at the moment with a reasonable understanding?
Mhm.
Because what I've done, it's, 7 o'clock, we have to go, sorry.
Yeah.
Well, with few exceptions, our meeting.
You're just giving me trouble, aren't you?
Oh, I think we should recommend,
Well,
and then it's
That's-
still up to them to decide, but we're recommending as the board that oversees.
what I'm actually going to do is make a motion,
Okay,
having laid the groundwork. And because I have a color printer at home, I printed it in black and white. So I'm making a motion that this committee, Public Access Cable Committee, in parentheses, recommends the position of manager of the Public Access Cable Department be changed from non-exempt to exempt to be comparable to other department heads. And further, that this be done at an equivalent salary, including overtime paid recently in the present position and other relevant benefits.
I don't think you should use the word overtime. I think that's, when you say exempt.
Point of order, he
Oh, I'm
made a
sorry.
motion,
we
I
have to
will second the
discuss.
motion,
Thank you.
now we can
Is there
discuss.
any
I'm
further
sorry.
discussion?
No, well, if we're gonna do this, you gotta do it,
Yeah, you're right.
cause then
I
there's a,
fucking-
You do a good job of
A
keeping
in
me in.
elementary law in college, I'm just bad.
The
right
reason,
now.
the reason overtime is in here is very specifically, this is trying to ensure Joe is made whole. Right now, they would like to make Joe exempt at 11.8 at her present hourly rate for 28 hours and no overtime. So that's why that's in here, because that's exactly what we're trying to do.
I know, but I'm just saying, it's a
Please.
a word that will get them,
I don't have a way around it at the moment.
why don't you say to more I would just say to more realistically reflect the amount of hours she puts into the job. And you could put in parentheses, currently, some, 28.5 hours plus usually 6 hours of overtime, or whatever, if you wanna do that. But I would say, that this position should reflect the amount of hours she puts in the job
Okay, thank you.
to compensate her fairly. Fair compensation, those are good buzzwords for HR. And it's true, she needs to be fairly compensated for the amount of hours that she works. Plus, I think you should put in something about her hours are irregular. And she's needed to cover events on weekends and evenings, and so that a regular work week, the 28.5 hours does not adequately cover the. I remember one time we got in, there was somebody saying she should be in the office from such and such a time, and we had to defend her at a town meeting, saying she's flexible and we need someone like that in this position.
Motion on the floor.
Yeah, I know.
We're discussing
We're
it.
having a discussion. You have. a comment?
So if she becomes exempt, she no longer has to put in her hours and when she works. She becomes then like a lot of business people or whatever who, this is what you're paid.
Yeah.
This is what you need to do. We don't care how long it takes you
Yeah.
to do it and when you do it, but it needs to be done,
Right,
correct?
correct,
Whereas that answers your question.
yes.
And point of order to answer you, if you wanna end discussion, you can say,
Call the question,
call the question, then it comes to.
or move the question.
Move the question, yeah, move the question, and then as chair, you have the right to say yes or no.
Well, then we have to vote to
Move
see
the
if,
question,
move
yeah.
the question.
So I'm just saying, so we'll keep this all going.
Yes,
Well, you're right, I can also say any more discussion as I go.
Right,
I mean,
we just-
everyone's had an opportunity, so I'm giving everyone else. an
So-
opportunity for discussion.
You'd like to just have this sent to the manager, HR, and personnel committee
Correct,
as a motion from the PAC committee.
Right.
Concerning the change of status.
Right.
I would only ask, does this motion meet all the criteria you've been thinking about since this affects you more dramatically?
Yes,
And covers the bases that you think will be most appropriate,
yes.
okay?
I don't have. Is this it?
oh, didn't I give you one, Joe? You should have.
No, but that's okay.
You wanna look at this one, just
Sure.
to make sure?
No, thank you.
Oh, here, here's one I didn't write out.
Yeah. It should be one more around somewhere.
I have one.
No, there should be 6 altogether.
This is number 6. But I wrote on this one.
Up here.
You know, I would
So-
just, I think you should put a period after salary.
Okay. The only thing is it doesn't mention a grade increase or,
Yeah,
At this point, I'm trying to defend one thing in particular,
mhm,
because I believe we need to do 2 other things in the near term. And one is actually, because we haven't for a while, do a salary review. And we haven't done that. I'm trying not to mix that in
okay,
with this at the same time, but doesn't mean we shouldn't look to do that. Subject, sorry to say, the budget, and I can tell you the budget numbers in a minute, I just wanted every.
Yeah.
So the salary number that eventually comes up with this, does that automatically put her into a specific grade? When they do the grid, you know what I mean, the grid?
I'm trying not to judge that, but almost certainly it does. And what I have done going through the numbers is said that Joe gets made whole, actually with a slight increase on the spreadsheet. If she's 14.1, that would be about $1.50 on the original hourly rate increase. If it was 14.1. My expectation is that the personnel committee, with potentially a rewritten job description and the knowledge that this is a department head position, will say it has to be 14. And they always like to start at 1 if they can. We know that. So that would make sense.
Okay.
That number, just from a budget point of view, if Joe is exempt as a 14.1 under the present table of rates, and Eric is paid but no overtime, something we need a separate discussion, it's not about this. That would come to 86,978, and budget is 83,000. So it's about close to 4,000 over our present budget. Okay, but I'm also trying to give you a whole picture. Our budget for indirect costs, which is pensions and other stuff. Our budget was estimated and therefore put in at 51,508. And Joe told me today that 5 to 6.
it was $47,503.
So that is a $4,000 savings. So in our budget, we have $4,000 that we're not going to spend, which meant if we had to go from 83 to no more than 87, we're still within our budget, which is with the silver line. I'm not trying to have us recommend something that then we can't do. Are we good?
Thank you
Well-
for finding that.
I would like,
Oh, sorry, can we
I'm
let
sorry, I didn't
anyone
see.
else have comments? I don't have any comments.
I don't see.
This is fine for me,
Okay.
the way I'm seeing it, and the way I'm trying, I think I understand it is. This is setting the table for what will probably be a further conversation with those.
Will it, or
So
will
we're
they just
giving
run
our-
with it and give her the,
Paul, sorry.
And so, this is our endorsement
Yes,
of
good word, I like that.
making, making her job make a lot more sense, actually, and bringing her to parity with other departments.
Right, and making an attempt to ensure that she is whole in the process, because that's what's wrong with the present process. Endorsement is a delightful word, thank you. Does it come with an apostrophe? Ah,
I think you're putting up red flags by after salary, including overtime paid recently in the present position and other relevant benefits. I think if you just keep it simple and say, you know, that comparable to other department heads, and further that this be done at an equivalent salary, which at a minimum is grade 14. Because that's what it is, a comparable salary. You're not saying we're not forcing them, we're just telling them what it is. And I think that's the least we can do. Because if there's any shenanigans going on, we're not gonna know it. Once things are decided, they're decided. And if we put down an equivalent salary of you know, of grade 14, then you're saying there aren't any other department heads that are less than 14.
No,
So I think it's reasonable to say at least grade 14.
okay, any further comments?
I have a question, tonight I understand the difference between non-exempt and exempt, but the language of this, would you want to put in non-exempt? Of, for overtime pay, something to just further flesh that out.
My preference is to keep it the way I wrote it,
Well,
because
of course,
what we're trying to do
The question.
is open a can of worms potentially,
what you
and
need
to
to
make
explain
it
it more.
clear. Well, this is a motion to accept this, right?
I would
there
like
can be
to make an
amendments.
You
amendment.
can do
to
a
the-
friendly amendment. but-
Yes, a friendly amendment. I would like to say at an equivalent salary of at least 14, you know, grade 14 period. And delete the including overtime recently in the present position and other relevant benefits. That's immaterial. That's not the issue. The issue is
Yes, you have
equivalency.
made your point. Thank you.
Okay. That's my
So, is there a
amendment.
second for the friendly amendment? Is that the way it works, Steve?
Yeah, someone has to second.
I can second that,
You would?
I would, because
Okay.
I,
The way,
I'm
yeah,
starting to becoming convinced by what they were saying. Why bring that in there? Just, you want to get Joe to an equivalent salary, period.
Period.
Don't need to talk about what the current situation is now.
I'm just trying to make sure that when they think equivalent salary, it includes the average of her recent overtime.
Understood.
I
So-
consider that simple,
I agree,
because of where they said to Joe already they're going to be.
so why
Okay.
can't we just say step 14? instead?
Yeah,
Well,
step 14.
my preference on that is to let the personnel committee.
But
do
they
their
can
job.
decide the step. The personnel committee decides the step. We're recommending the grade. That the equivalency of her position is at a grade 14 period. Where they feel her experience or whatever, they'll decide the step. We're not telling them what to do. We're just recommending. if you bring in the overtime, that's just gonna hit them like,
Yeah,
it's gonna
you've said on
confuse
that
people.
a number of occasions.
Sorry to be repetitive.
So we vote on the friendly amendment, Steve.
Yeah, we have to vote on that first. So my question to you, Joe. Does changing it to equivalent salary of at least grade 14 in your workings with the personnel, because you work with them way more than any of us, is that gonna be adequate to cover what Steve is trying to make sure is covered? In the personnel agreement?
It will cover it if it goes over, if it's based on a week of more than 28 hours. The average I've been going over is between 6 to 9 hours over every week. So it would have to be based on 28 hours plus another 6,
Yeah,
so
which is
34 or so hours.
One thing I don't understand is, does this chart work for exempt and non-exempt? Because it makes no sense, given that exempt are not hourly paid. I'm sorry, it's just something I don't understand.
The chart is for both,
It really is.
yeah.
I have no comment on that because we're being recorded.
We are being recorded.
So my question then is, what is your preference? In your dealings with the town hall and all the people in there, which way do you think would best put forth your case? Is that?
I really wish I had an answer to that because I'm not understanding the process as I should.
Okay, and that's fine.
I'm still trying to figure out how they are figuring this out.
Right,
I don't know.
okay, and that's good to know. Okay,
I mean,
Any
they've
further-
reviewed my job description, and they have deemed it, they've deemed that are some outliers. So they have to
Don't really know what that
review my job description to figure out if those outliers bring me to a higher level or not. It's very mysterious to me. I don't know.
I find it interesting that they're bringing this up since the town doesn't pay your salary. They do pay you benefits, though.
No,
No,
we pay
it all
benefits.
comes out of our budget.
I just think it's an interesting,
that's an interesting point.
That
But
is.
we are.
I mean, you do work for the town,
We are.
Yes,
but we pay
Right.
your salary.
yes.
But it is a town department. So
Right.
it has to meet some town.
Okay.
It's,
Thank you, that was a great, well, it helped me.
yeah.
I don't know if it helped anyone else. but-
Well,
Pete is
Can I
taking
ask
a
you-
big breath, yeah.
does it,
Well,
how do you stand now with the motion and the amendment?
I would like to go to the original motion,
You can leave whenever you need to.
cause I do not know. if the
Oh,
That's
personnel-
just-
coming up, that talk
Oh,
affects you.
uh-oh.
So I would like the personnel board to understand that they have to include your total salary. Cause they're not
Total
going to,
practical salary at this,
they're not going to.
yeah, that's my problem. That's what's
Okay,
crazy.
well, what if we put in estimated
I'm sorry.
hours, for example, saying 36 or 36
Exempt.
hours?
Exempt is exempt,
Right,
is you just
right.
work as long as the job is done.
Right,
So,
So, your point was you need to leave, and you have something else that's coming up.
Yes.
So-
We have a couple of options here, one of which might be, because I don't know how urgent this is, we could table this. That's an option. We can table the option that's on the motion that's on the floor. Or we can vote on the friendly amendment. Those are the only two we have.
yeah, we should vote on the friendly amendment and then vote on the motion. There's no reason why we can't take the next 2 minutes to do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that can be done. Whatever happens, happens. So I'll move the question.
Okay, so those in favor of the amended version of the motion? And those against?
Okay.
So that returns us to the original motion. Any further discussion on that? You're doing a good job of training now, like.
Well, he's gotta go, so
Yeah, I
I
know.
know how to move a meeting. I don't know if,
I watched you many nights.
Do we want to vote on the motion, or we could table it, I suppose?
that would be a motion to table.
Why?
That's-
Why?
No, I don't want to, I'm just trying to accommodate.
No, if someone wanted to table it, they would have a motion to table, but I'm not putting that motion out.
No,
That's how it would be done.
so
I move the question.
again, all those in favor of the motion as presented?
You can say no if you want.
No, I understand what you're trying
I don't like the wording, but
No.
I'm in favor of the concept.
Right.
I see the
Okay.
big picture.
That's good. Good you said
So-
thank you.
Steve,
Okay.
you will make sure that the appropriate people get that motion?
No.
Or I have to do it?
Then well done, thank you, Steve.
I need help.
You're the secretary.
Do I just put this motion?
Yes. Whatever you put in the minutes, which is going to be a copy of this, right? Needs to be sent to those three saying that.
So send our minutes. So that means I cannot send this until we approve our minutes.
We need to send it now.
So that's why I'm asking.
I make a motion that we
Send it
send it
now.
now.
Second.
All those in
Third.
favor? Aye. 6 in favor.
Send now. Well, if you're doing it in minute,
Your
Yeah.
amendment.
I wrote it down.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
We did. Okay, that's done. Sheet. Okay,
So we can participate.
oh, I know, I have to skip over my chat.
Pete, was there? Oh, it was the term review and update you wanted.
Yes.
Okay, please, let's
Let's
do
take
that.
that out.
No, it's actually in order. I was just trying to make sure we were in order.
I wanted to go out on the town website and check out all the departments. And when I looked at Pacc, I noticed that our terms are incorrect.
Oh.
Yours and mine are up in 24 instead of 25, and Steve's is up in 26 instead of 24.
Is mine right?
Yours and Steve's are correct, 26.
Yeah,
And
one
when something
should-
gets on the town website and Lenny gets a hold of it,
Yeah.
that's grand. So we need to correct that.
So,
You check our minutes on July 10th, it's correct.
okay, have you any idea how to do this stuff?
Yeah, I can, I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, feel free, you're part of us.
No, I know, but, Kara McCarthy does all the web editing. And she can just go, send it to me, I'll send it to her,
Okay,
yeah,
do we
send it
think,
to my government.
because we had set it up, so
It's so backwards.
Steve was gonna take 2 years, and Faith and I were gonna take 3. And then you guys just came on this year.
The price, then it was gonna be
26, 25, 24.
Right.
That should be.
Yeah, just
I
put it
came up
next to the names, what it's supposed to look like.
Okay.
And then I'll send it off to her,
I didn't know who put it out there in the first place.
yeah,
They redid the whole website,
They
and there were
redid it.
other errors, there are a lot of things going on.
Oh, so we think it may just be.
It just could be, it was done incorrectly,
Yeah.
whatever, but Pete will send Joe correct info.
Right.
To be posted,
Joe will arrange to have it posted.
Joe will,
We don't need a motion or anything on that, that's just.
no,
I'm sorry I have to leave, I don't.
No, I
don't drive
appreciate you
that
being here.
I
Pete.
don't need it.
Yep. That's fine,
Sorry.
no,
Right,
I
that's
make
right.
right.
I make a motion to adjourn.
No,
Well, we've got
Oh, we have.
two
no-
items on the agenda.
Oh, sorry.
Going forward.
We have no report on
That'll
the
send you that
investment
first thing,
fund.
okay?
And the next meeting is on the 6th of December here at 4th of December here at 6 o'clock, yes.
and I won't be here. I have a rehearsal.
Okay. But a quorum should be, it's good for
Yeah.
you,
Yes.
good for you,
Yes.
good for me.
Make sure I ask.
September the 4th, 6 o'clock,
You what?
and you are duly excused.
in China.
Hey, Paul, you know what that means?
I'll take a minute.
I knew you could work it out. Yes.
All right, now,
You're a good lad. Motion,
motion to
Motion
adjourn.
to adjourn.
I'll give it to Faith. I'll second. No, you don't have
all
to
those
second.
in favor, no damn discussion, let's get out of here. Thank you, Joe.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
All right. Warm in here.